Hello, wherever you are. What a great day to be alive today. This is probably the first time that I'm interacting with you. And today I have a special guest who is coming with an incredible story, a story that you remember because it's not just going to be educational, it's not just going to be inspirational, but it's going to be entertaining. And I believe that if you are a person who is looking or you have a dream that you want to pursue, this is an incredible story that I believe is going to get you started onto your dream. The guest I have here today is an award winning innovator. He worked previously at Equity Bank and now a senior software engineer. And I think these things he's going to tell us, and I want to give him this opportunity to introduce himself. Welcome so much, Brother David. Kindly introduce yourself.
Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you for hosting me.
It's a great one.
Yeah.
All right.
My name is David,
Yes.
as he has just mentioned, and I'm currently working as a senior software engineer at Most Fintech. I have more than 5 years of experience in this technology industry. Yeah, and among other companies that I've worked for Equity Bank, Most Fintech, and also Vunatech, and many others. Yeah, that's a little bit about me and what I do currently. Thank you.
Will you please tell us a little bit about your passion and interest?
Okay. So my passion goes into delivering solutions to people, especially using technology. Whatever problem that I can imagine, I just think of how I can make things easier for people. Yeah, using technology. Yeah.
Wow.
So for example, we I find that there's an issue with finding people, finding cleaning services, for example. I can think of it this way. What if I can just create an application where we can connect mama fuas to people who need the services? So that's my passion.
Wow. This is an incredible thing. You know, being in this position as a young man and just hearing from David and him explaining to us what he has been able to do at this young age, at this young age, it gives us curiosity to want to understand how has his life been. And I want to give you, David, a little time just to tell us your background story. Where are you from? And what is the motivation? Or what is the thing that motivated you to have that passion in computer engineering that has taken you up to this level where you are today?
Thank you so much. So my story goes back to 2003 or 2004 when I was starting my studies. So we had okay. Let me start with where I was born. I was born and raised in Korea, which is in Migori County. So the better part of my life I stayed there in Korea. My I didn't go to pre-primary school, I can say,
Oh, interesting. Maybe you
because
tell us a little bit about it.
yeah, because my parents had a school, a primary school, and because my cousins had already registered to that school, they couldn't afford to take me to a primary school.
So you are in a primary school
Yeah,
that was founded by your dad,
exactly.
and the school has your cousins as the students at school.
Yeah,
Maybe what you're trying to mean is that you are the pioneers of that school.
exactly.
Oh, that is incredible. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So then I studied there till I was in class 3 when the school now ran out of funds, you
Oh,
can see.
okay.
So I had to relocate to move to another private school just in the nearest the next village.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So there I used to go with my cousin, who later switched to a boarding school. And that's how I also switched to a boarding school. Yeah. So the switching at that time, because I was in class 4 that time, I went and did an interview in the next boarding school that I wanted to join. But after I just finished doing the interview, the the class teacher, or I can say no, the head teacher, just showed me where my class was.
It means you are a sharp guy. Yeah,
Yeah,
immediately you finish an interview and you are shown that is your class,
yeah,
young man.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So where I was supposed to join, it was in standard 4 because I was standard 4. But then those classes were, they had somehow the those were same class 4 and 5. So I thought that I was doing class 5. I didn't even read or notice the the classes or the values on the door.
The class, okay.
Yeah, because the door was open. So I just went like to class 5. So I was to join class 4 and I jumped to class 5. Yeah. So that's what I the key moments that I remember. There I studied um there class 5 and 6, and I went back now to my primary school,
Oh.
which is more of a public one.
Mhm.
Yeah. And as you know, a private guy, okay, a boy, or you maybe you have studied in a private school, going back to a primary school, you usually shine.
True.
Yeah, so that's how, yeah, that's my primary life.
Oh.
Yeah. Then going back to secondary, I didn't perform well as my peers back in my boarding school because I was in a primary school. My competitors did not offer that much competition. So when I went to high school, the first part is I didn't get um how do we call them,
Good
letters.
grades. Oh, letters.
Letters from the schools that I applied to because I didn't pass that very well. So my dad had to go and ask for an opportunity in our nearest school, which was Taranganya High School. It was a sub county. I really loved that school. I joined there the first time, the first day during the
Admission.
admission, yeah, the admission day, and sadly to me, we didn't have enough funds. Yeah, so okay, we had literally half the amount that they were asking for. Yeah, they were asking for 20,000 and we had 10,000. So my dad just told me we can go to another cheap school instead. So that's where I went to my district school, or in my location. It was more of a district, yeah, district level, and I started life there as a Form 1 student there, Form 2, yeah, and I found myself loving humanities a lot, Form 1, Form 2, and biology. So for biology, my passion was to be a doctor before. Then I got sick. I was in Form 2. I had a stomachache or something, and I had to visit the hospital. So my friends and I went to the hospital just to visit it, and I told that I was sick, only to see real sick people. Someone who has come with a broken leg or something, and I was like, I must be joking.
You had to ask yourself, why am I? What am I doing
Yeah,
here?
exactly.
And I think that is an incredible story. You know, when many people are joining high school, each and everyone has this ambition because when we are leaving home and we are joining school, we are always encouraged by our parents and the people around us and telling us how excellent we can be. And now we are in this school, we go with that ambition or that motivation to want to be a doctor. And most people, they come with that excitement of wanting to be a doctor, but by the time they are leaving, they are now the patients. And I think that really resonates with what David is speaking about.
Yeah.
And maybe just to continue telling us more of your story.
So exactly. So when I left the hospital, I didn't even wait for the doctor to attend to me because I just saw that I'm joking. A small stomachache shouldn't take me to the hospital, and there are people who have broken legs or something. So that's the time I dropped biology because I didn't stomach. Okay, to me, people are different. I don't say that being a doctor is bad or tiresome, but to me, I felt like I didn't want to stay or maybe to have that as a career in my whole life. Yeah. So that's when I dropped biology. Yeah, exactly. So, but then I had to do some sciences. You know, when in high school, especially in Kenya, you have to do a minimum of 2 sciences. So that's where I had no option but to go back to physics that I used to hate. Yeah.
Now, David, you've told us an incredible a story and a very interesting story of where you were sick and you went to the hospital and it changed your whole perspective of becoming a doctor. And I really want to know, and I probably know that many people want to know, that maybe you tell us a little bit about your experience here in this school. Were you that kind of a student who was disciplined and well mannered, or you had some issues that maybe made you to probably maybe be cane a little bit or be disciplined?
Yeah, okay. In Form 1 and 2, I was the most loved student because I I I joined when I was 13 years old. At that time, 2013, it's not okay. That was not the age of joining high school. Nowadays, it's normal.
Mhm.
By that time, I was the smallest in the whole institution. They used to love me. Actually, I remember I used to wear home clothes at school because they didn't find clothes that were matching me. So my uniform remained to be just casual.
True.
Yeah, and I was somehow okay being brought up in a private school most of the time and boarding schools, and also that my parents used to be passionate teachers, though they didn't pursue education. It was I was shining. Like I used to be somehow bright in Form 1 and Form 2. But then I my father transited me to another school, which was Ikerege, because of some insecurities in the previous school that I was in. So there I joined as Form 3, and that's when adolescence hit me. Yeah, I became a very bad boy. When I say bad boys, my company was with drug addicts. You know, I'm not saying rugby players are mostly bad, but I can say most of my friends were rugby players, and in that time, most of the rugby players used to be somehow crooks. Yeah, because of the big bodies, they can beat any teacher. So
I get it.
exactly.
And I think this reminds me of something. When I was in high school, our English teacher this fine morning comes into class and he told us a word. I remember him telling us, bullies are cowards. And this is a statement that did not occur well with me at that time because I really did not understand. But when I continued with my journey in high school, is when I started to realize that we had people whose aim was just to make the life of other people difficult. And I think this is something that David is alluding to when he says that rugby people in his school that maybe had this connotation. If you are around them, you feel protected, but at the same time, something that you are not sure of, that they're instilling some kind of character which might not be good. And I believe that is what David is really trying to mean.
Exactly, you put it the correct way. I love that. So adolescence kicked in, and that school was so strict with performance. And I don't know. For some reasons, I didn't compete. I'm a competitive guy, but I somehow relaxed. When I joined Form 4, it's when now the character was revealed. Clearly, it has been growing up, the group character. And they were, let's say, I can say a lot of examinations, competitions with other schools. And there's this one examination that used to be called Rimbo,
Yeah.
which we used to do the whole district.
Okay.
Yeah, it was very hard. It was very hard, especially if you're not prepared. You could do maybe for 2 weeks.
Oh.
Yeah, the whole district, and yeah, and also to add on top of that, I used to fear king. Yeah, if you are a Gen Z or Gen Alpha,
Yeah, Jenna.
they don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, true.
Because caning is not yes. Yeah, is maybe prohibited in their
True.
time.
And I think that is something that was prohibited during our time when we were in school back then. But I think to some school were not obedient to those guidelines.
Yeah.
And no matter that caning was restricted, but to our schools, if you did a mistake, brutally, you were really caned.
Yeah.
And just that was a form of of instilling discipline.
Yeah.
But I don't think and I don't believe that that was the best way or the best approach to make someone perform better. I know some people may have a different opinion and views, but that is according to me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it worked on some people because people feared cane. The problem with me is it was just fear. So it made me even um, be sneaking out of school because I really hated to be caned. And there's this exam that's called Rimbo. I vividly remember that day. I had left to get some school fees and already done that examination. Then coming back, it was like ideally the other day, the previous day, it was a disciplinary day. So this guy, okay, so the examination had already been marked and we didn't perform well. I can put it that way. And they said that if you have a minimum of, I think, 58 points, you'll be you'll be among the people who will be disciplined. Yeah, imagine 42 teachers disciplining you. Yeah, so it happened to me that the day of disciplinary I was not there.
Oh,
The first day, right? So the second day I'm at school and my friends are like, David, you are the first failure. I mean, where the pass mark is, I sat there. So I was the first one to be I was leading the people who have failed the examination.
Oh, yeah, I get it.
And for some reasons, the teachers used to see a lot of potential in me, so they used to discipline me a lot, even if I win. For example, mathematics was my favorite subject, together with physics at some time. But for some reasons, even if I top the class, maybe I would be disciplined. Yeah, you're saying that I'm not serious. I never knew that they were seeing a lot of potential in me. Yeah. So that is in Form 4, as I've said. Um, so after hearing those stories from my friends, I couldn't imagine being caned that thoroughly. So I didn't have any option but to start sneaking.
So you let me understand.
Eh,
You sneaked out of school because you did not want to be punished.
exactly.
You went home, and then now your father gave you school fees to come and pay. And the day you are coming to pay the school fees is the day just after the students have been punished because of not performing well. And now that you've come to school, people are telling you that now this is what awaits you, and you have the money in your hand. So you decide to go to sneak again.
Yeah, now I had money.
Okay, so briefly tell us as you continue your story. You will kindly tell us what happened. Did you even manage to pay the school fees? Or yeah.
Okay, you've jumped, but okay, it's okay. Didn't want to say that, but funny enough, um, I had school fees that time. When I was being told, it's tough, and some of my friends advised me just disappear for 2 weeks or 1 week and come back when the tension has,
Subsided.
have subsided, and the teachers have forgotten about that story. So I took the advice, yeah, sneaked, yeah, and went to stay with my friend just closer to the school for 2 weeks. Yeah. So it really affected me because at that time, no, that was the first time I sneaked actually out of school, but it became like a character.
Oh,
So
and even before you proceed, you are sneaking out of school, and you have these school fees that you were given. What happened to the money? Or you paid, then you sneaked out of school, or you sneaked out with the money? And if you sneaked out with the money, did you keep it up to that time when you came back to school and paid the fees, or what happened?
Of course, you can't just keep the money.
Okay.
And at that time, the school had some clear instructions that you cannot take cash to the bursar. You
Mhm.
have to go to the bank for you to make the deposit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and since I was planning to stay 2 weeks outside the school,
Yeah.
clearly I couldn't pay that money. So I
Okay.
had to just use it in the hope that SportPesa would return that
Oh,
money.
you went into gambling.
Yeah, I had. That was the time when gambling had, you know,
Picked up, I
picked up a
believe.
lot.
Uh-huh.
Exactly. In 20, 2015,
Oh,
2016,
oh,
like
2016. So you
2016.
had this hope that you're going to invest this amount
Yeah, I
of
was like,
money
I can use
and
whatever I
you're
want,
going to get. Uh-huh.
and if I invest 500, just
Mhm.
return
Okay.
the amount that I have.
Interesting. Uh-huh.
Yeah, and that's the time when all the teams, all the teams failed to lose.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
exactly.
goodness.
So yeah, I stayed at my friend's place for 1 week. Then it's a long story. I won't talk about it here.
Okay,
But
I,
I
I
can
know it's
say,
a wrong story,
mm,
but I just want to understand. Now that you've invested your money in a poor investment scheme, to say, just to say so, and did you lose all the money or just you took a portion of it and invested?
okay, before investing,
Mm.
I had consumed like 90% of the money already because after I had consumed 90%, so now my mind
Oh,
chipped
you came
in,
into senses of
came
how
into
you're
sense.
going to get back
Yeah,
the amount that you were given by your dad,
yeah,
and
exactly.
now you decided to put into gambling,
Yeah.
and
So
then
I
it
was,
was swallowed.
yeah,
And now, so that you are in this you are in this state, you are given money for school fees, but you did not pay your school fees, and now time has come for you to go to school. How, what is the scenario like?
okay, okay. That the big okay, I don't know.
Mm.
I should call it an advantage, or maybe um the luck side
Mhm.
was the money was not really school fees, I can say. It
Okay.
was more of motivation fees and all those stuff.
Oh.
So it wasn't that serious. Since then I was in Form 4 and we were in term 2, I guess, term 2.
Mhm.
Um, when I sneaked back into the school, they didn't even realize,
Oh.
and I wasn't sent there. I knew. Okay, I knew. I know. I repaid the money by lying again.
Oh. Mhm.
That we need to how do we call it? Okay, we're going to an out
School trips
school trips.
or
You know,
academic
I
tour.
want this amount.
Mm,
Yeah, and then
I
I go
get
and
it.
pay that school fee that I,
Okay.
yeah, it consumed. So that's how I survived that incident.
Oh.
But then it came with a lot of repercussions because at the point of applying, at a point of doing KCSE,
Mhm.
you know, there's this how do you call it? When you have already registered for your Form 4 examination,
Yeah.
you they keep on bringing you confirmation. Okay, you confirm the subjects that you registered.
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Since I the school was somehow like my part-time job, my part-time.
Oh, it's a place you used to go when you want, and if
When
you
I
don't
want,
feel, you
yeah,
do
if I
not
don't
be to
feel,
school.
I just need.
So most of your classes you were not around,
Yeah, I was not being around.
absentee student.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I was more of absent. I didn't even sign the subject that I be doing.
Come on.
So when it comes to doing examination,
Mhm.
you registered for physics and then you're told you didn't register for physics, you registered for biology.
Oh.
I don't know, it was picking automatic or something. I don't know. Maybe
Mhm.
someone was just applying it for me.
Oh.
And then more like 3 subjects, business. I used to do agriculture and I'm told I was registered for business. Yeah. Same to theory, physics, biology, and all those subjects. So I didn't perform as I expected.
Okay.
Yeah, and even if the grades that I got, I could go into college, my passion was not into the subjects that I passed.
True.
Yeah, I was really passionate in things to deal with sciences,
Yeah.
maths, and physics.
Mhm.
So that's why I had again to rewind my Form 4.
No, so you have to go back to repeat from 4.
Yeah.
just because of some series of mistakes that you did.
Yeah.
And now this brings about the point, there is this common thing that we've always been told, that choices have consequences, and we never choose the consequences, but we choose the choice or the decision you make. But most of the time, we never think of the consequences ahead of us until we've made that choice. And now that you've made that choice, it is coming to affect you now in your Form 4. And now you have to repeat school. I
Yeah.
know that was a disappointment to your parents.
Yeah, it was okay. It was a. It's not even my parents, even the
Mhm.
village.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. Because I used to be a bright boy, and
Mhm.
at that time they were expecting a lot from me. So when I didn't pass well, it was an uproar in the village. They didn't believe.
So you've not only disappointed your parents, you've also disappointed the whole village.
Mm,
At the same time, you are also ashamed of yourself just
exactly.
because of some things that you did. I think
Yeah,
that must have been a very painful period of your life you are in.
yeah,
Okay, now that you've you are at this point of your life, how now do you maneuver on your next step?
yeah. So one thing that happened at that point, I still wasn't changed. I had that character, I had that mentality. I never knew until I got baptized. Yeah, immediately I finished Form 4, I got baptized. And that's when I realized I really had bad character before. Because after baptism, my life literally changed. My passions, what I loved, changed. And now that I failed even examination, now I had to change friends because I didn't have any friends now. All the friends that I had at that time, uh, they were the ones that were laughing.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly. So I changed into ghost mode. I became now an introvert. I used to stay in my room alone the whole day. Yeah, and that's when my grandmother, my parents decided to take me back to Form 4 and to maybe to repeat and see if I could do better. Because their dream was for me to join campus and uh, pursue a career, yeah, and maybe to get a good life after that.
okay.
Yeah.
So you are in this other school just after your previous Form 4. How is your study life like?
Okay. When I went to that school, it was somehow smaller than the previous one that I
Okay.
had.
Mm.
And I had this ego that no, there's no way I can come from this big school and you guys just compete and I don't become top.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that drove me a lot because I and also the fact that I was baptized and I was a changed man. My
Mhm.
passions were different. My heart was literally changed. I tell you, like, I never knew. I just hated going to the pool, which I used to love. And my friends, I just changed them automatically. And also, I found myself loving to study a lot. So, and also the competition uh, brought something in me. I realized that I love to compete a lot. Yeah.
I see.
So that I was, I can say, the accelerate. How can I put it? That was like the
The changing
catalyst.
point,
Okay.
and then at the same time a catalyst,
Exactly.
and then an acceleration maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of my studies in
Mm.
Form 4.
Oh,
Yeah. After that, then I passed very well.
incredible. I think this is a story of a person who did not have a direction, but is coming to this point where he's coming to know Jesus Christ. And at the point of baptism, his life changes entirely. And something that we are coming to learn is that David did not put any effort in changing himself. But the moment he gave his life to Christ Jesus and he was baptized, we are seeing some changes some things starting to change. And I believe that even as these things start to change, there is some level of discipline that now you have to instill yourself in, so that you make sure that you are at par with your academics. And now that you've told us the story, maybe you briefly tell us how did you perform now in your final examination, and then even as you tell us, kindly now introduce us how did you come to love computer engineering up to this level where you are.
Okay. Thank you so much again. And I can say, as I've said, I never made any effort from me to be a changed person. Immediately I got baptized. The day I was dipped into the water. At the time I was, you know, brought back. I can put it. Yeah. Like I felt I was new, like I was thinking like a kid.
Amazing.
I was my passion just changed. You
Oh.
see? Previously I used to be called um Amtundu. How can I put it? So,
Amtundu,
a bad headed.
Amtundu is a Swahili word which is referred to a person who is hard-headed.
Exactly.
If to put it in simple terms and for you to understand. Okay.
Yeah, I used to be called that.
Uh-huh.
And it just changed. I felt uh, I just loved my parents. I used to hate them.
Mhm.
Just came along. I found myself loving, being a loving person, loving my siblings, loving my parents, loving studies. I used even to offer help to the church, maybe going and doing the mopping and the sweeping. It just came natural. Even when I went back to studies, that is in Form 4, I didn't have that struggle of studying.
Mhm.
It was just like someone has just picked and come and placed it in me.
Okay.
So I just loved doing studies, and also I was also so disciplined.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, and inquisitive. And after that, I passed.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know how to say the specific grade that I got,
no problem.
but I managed to take computer science at a university.
Now, after your Form 4,
Mhm.
what is the motivation or the reason behind you wanting to pursue a career in computer science?
Yeah, exactly. So being brought up in a village, the only career that you know is maybe being a doctor or maybe being a soldier.
And a teacher.
Exactly,
Teachers
and
are
a
really
teacher.
exalted in those areas.
Exactly. So everyone is telling you just be a teacher. You cannot, there are a lot of schools here.
Mhm,
Um, you can't miss unemployment.
mhm.
Yeah, but then a friend of mine whose dad was somehow an IT expert. Um, I don't know. We became just friends with that guy. They had just located to that neighborhood, and he introduced me to his dad.
Oh,
So it's his dad who told me how computers. At that time, I wanted a career that will bring me a lot of money.
oh, I get it.
So,
Guys, if you want money, the secret is computer
no,
science.
no. It depends with who you've asked.
Mhm.
There are a lot of economists who have not money, lots of money.
True.
So this guy, yeah, based on his life and the stories that he gave me, how he's working from home and how he's getting a lot of money. Yeah, working on for multiple companies at the same time, multiple schools. I saw like this is the perfect job for me.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because it was somehow challenging. There are a lot of people. There are not that much people in the market,
Mhm.
right? And also, it requires a lot of dedication for you to master it.
True.
So I felt like this is what I was born to do.
Incredible. Now you have decided that computer science is your path.
Yeah.
You are now entering university. And as you know, it's a diverse place. How is your experience in university, and how does this shape your career as a computer engineer?
Yeah. I can say um my first experience was okay. The way I grew up, I used to love to be told things are hard. So when you tell me that something is hard, that's when I have that passion to do it. I feel like it's not as easy as.
Oh, from your childhood, you really loved challenges.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think this is a story of an eagle. An eagle loves storms, and wherever there are storms, it flies.
Yeah.
That storms gives it power to even fly. As other birds are running away from the storm, an eagle is going into the storm. And I think this is what you're trying to say, that you loved the challenge. And now that people have told you that computer engineering is hard, you decide to do computer engineering just to break that, I can say, barrier.
Yeah.
And also, I can't lie on this, also to massage your ego a little bit, just to be seen as a man who went to a path that had limited people, but also proved and made his own path. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. I love to be that guy who, whenever I introduce myself, I'm like, my name is David and I'm taking computer science.
Oh, amazing. Now I see. It was not just the money, but how you feel about it.
Yeah. So in my class, we were around 70, I can say. But as time went by, people were dropping and going to other courses. Yeah, and in computer science, there's a unit called programming.
Yeah.
That's I can say, one of the top challenges of most students there.
Yeah.
They have that perception that programming is hard. They have been taught that way, and they believe that way. Yeah. And me, since I love challenges, I just found myself to love it. Yeah. So in that class, I can say that's what drove me into programming so much.
Yeah.
Because being that I really loved attention, and I'm from the village, I don't have anything to offer. But now, this thing is hard, I can offer it. Like, I can show them it is easy. I can be of help to some people. Yeah. So that's what drove me into loving programming and practicing it all of the time.
Oh, amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, we are listening to David Mutundi. This is an incredible story of a boy who is coming from village to the university and now to become even a software engineer by profession. And I think the next part, he's going to explain to us briefly how now he's coming to this place where he can win an award as an innovator.